ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. I welcome you all back to this Bhagavad Gita study group. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, please remember that this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Ka Geet, the song of God, is a song that God sang on the battlefield. It's a discourse given in a situation of war. And in our lives, in the Kali Yuga that we are living, every single day sometimes feels like a battle. And so this Bhagavad Gita is most relevant. Okay? So with that understanding, let's do a quick recap. So 2 weeks back, we saw Krishna's telling Arjuna how to do his karma, right? So he told him, have vyavasayatmika buddhi, have single-minded focus. Don't give in to all kinds of distractions. Don't fall for hajar different puja, path, hajar different mannat mangna, vrat karna. Don't get caught up in any of that, right? Do not do anything with the intention of getting something in return. Because the more you seek something in return, the more you get bound. The more you will be in bondage and you will get stuck in this world of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Right? And this is not what any of us wants. Correct? So Krishna says, look, you don't worry about the Vedas. The Vedas are very, very, very elaborate. And in this little time that we have, Krishna is saying, I'm going to give you a synopsis. I'm going to tell you the most relevant sections. And I'm going to explain to you in detail whatever it is that you need and nothing more. Right? So what he is saying is that the Vedas are like little wells. Each yajna, each puja is for one particular need. But Krishna says right now we don't need any of that. I'm going to give you one epic solution. I'm going to teach you Buddhi Yoga. And by simply practicing Buddhi Yoga, God consciousness, you will get everything that you will ever need in your life. Whatever your need is. If it is material enjoyment, you will get that. If it is abundance, you will get that. If it is knowledge that you're seeking, you will get that. If you're seeking spiritual progress, you will get that. If you're seeking to finally experience Satchit Ananda, you will get that. Right? So this is a one-stop solution for everything that you need in life. Right? So it is more like I need to travel, and I need to carry 500 rupees with me. I have two options. I can take ek 500 rupee ka note, right? Or I can take notes of smaller denominations, right? I can take 10s and 20s and 50s and 100s. Now what am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the 500 ka note because it's very convenient, it's very simple to deal with. Correct? But the 10s and the 20s, all those notes are going to become very cumbersome. Correct? So similarly, even in the scriptures, if there is one source which is giving me complete knowledge, one source which is encouraging me, which is nourishing me, which is answering all my questions, then I don't need to carry those chota notes, right? So I don't need to go to several other sources. War is happening like in our lives. Every single day there is a war happening. Every day we feel that we are at a very critical juncture. The bugles have been blown. Everyone except Arjuna, except me, we're not ready to fight yet. And so Krishna has gathered all the best knowledge, all the appropriate information from all the sources. And he's giving it to Arjuna and he's giving it to us in these verses of the Bhagavad Gita. So that is all that we need. Okay? So if we are thirsty for knowledge which is going to free us from lamentation, free us from confusion, which is going to help us overcome all our unnecessary attachments, then all we need to do is study this beautiful book that we have in our hands, the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? And with that, we are going to move on to the most quoted verse of the Bhagavad Gita. All of you probably already know this verse by heart. And this verse is in fact a proper summary of everything that Krishna has been telling Arjuna so far. Verse 2.47. Okay, most of you will know it. People my age will know it thanks to the Mahabharata serial that we watched as children. Right? But otherwise it gets repeated so many times in so many movies, so many serials. Right? So let's go to verse number 2.47. Please repeat after me. Karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangostva karmani. Reshma, will you please read the translation?
Yes. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty.
Perfect. Thank you. Proper 4 sections, okay, in these 4 lines of this verse. First, I'll just give you the word for word understanding and then we'll discuss this. Karmani evadhikaraste. Karmani eva adhikar aste. Please remember, you have only one adhikar in your life. The adhikar, the right that you have is to perform your prescribed duty. That is your only right in life. Do your duty. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma means never. You are never entitled to the phal of your karma, to the fruits of your actions. So the first line is telling you only one adhikar you have in life, and that is do your duty. Second line immediately tells you when you do your duty, when you do your karma, remember you have no adhikar on the phal of that karma, on the result of that karma. Third line, ma karma phala heturbhu. Never let the gains be your motive. मैं ये काम कर रहा हूँ because I want this. Don't let that happen. Don't let the fruits of action be your motive. Okay? Ma karma phala heturbhu ma te sangostva akarmani. And don't think कि यार मुझे फल भी नहीं लेना है, मुझे अटैच भी नहीं होना है, मुझे ईगो भी नहीं होना है. Then why should I do my duty? Right? No. The last line that God is saying is never be attached to not doing your duty. Thinking कि as it is I'm not going to get anything, so why should I perform my duty? No, that is not an option. You have to do your duty. Okay? So, karmani eva adhikara aste. Do your duty. Arjun, you have to fight this war because this is your duty. Right? Reshma, Sonal, Pooja, you have little kids, so you have to wake up in the morning and make sure they get their dabbas. Make sure they go well nourished to school. Make sure they go with the right mindset to school. Right? You may be tired, you may have been out late at night, whatever it is. But that is your duty. And therefore, you have to do it. All of us must perform our prescribed duty to the best of our ability with single-minded focus, with greatest sincerity. We are in karma yoni, so we have to do our prescribed duty. Right? So that is karmani eva adhikara aste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You have no right on the results of your work. Subbalakshmi looks after her father-in-law so well, right? That is her duty. And she cannot expect him to turn around and every day tell her, I'm so grateful for you. She cannot expect her family to say, oh my God, Subbalakshmi, what would we have done without you? Right? All of us raising younger children can't expect our children to turn around and say, thank you so much, mom. What would I do without you? Karma phal does not belong to us. Right? We have to do it to the best of our ability. Like, we raise our children to the best of our ability so that the child grows up, he flourishes in the world and he is happy. He is successful. But we don't want his satisfaction. He will turn around and say, oh my God, whatever I am, I'm because of you. Right? We don't want to enjoy his accomplishments for our gratification. We are simply satisfied seeing him growing and flourishing. Because our thought has to be, this is a child of God, entrusted in my care. I am so grateful that somewhere the divine has seen that I may be capable of nourishing this beautiful soul. Right? So, nourishing this child is my responsibility. Taking care of this child is my duty. And with gratitude, I do the best that I can possibly do. Right? Think about it, right? All of us have built homes. So, we've called carpenters. Right? So think of a time when you called a carpenter and said, bhai, make this beautiful closet for me. Right? We give him all the raw material required. And he makes this beautiful, fantastic closet. Now, who does the closet belong to? Does it belong to the carpenter? No, right? Ekdam hak se we say that closet is mine. That closet belongs to me because I provided all the raw material. So in this world, we need to remember that all the raw material has been provided by God. Right? We manipulate all this raw material and we make something out of it. Correct? We use land that belongs to God. We use mud and clay and sand and stone and rock and wood and metal, everything that is provided by God, and we build a house. So who should that house belong to? Right? We're like the carpenter. He's the one who's provided everything. So obviously it all belongs to him. And that is why we have an altar at home. Please remember, why do we have a place where we go and pray to God? We have an altar so that it is a constant reminder that whatever is here belongs to him. So when we offer something to him, Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. Right? So it's very, very important to remember that whatever I do for his satisfaction. I do because he has entrusted me with certain duties. Right? And I will not get attached to the outcome. I will not get attached to the fruits of the work. Because remember, there is another problem. When we get attached to the fruit, if the fruit is not good, we say, chhod na yaar, kitni bhi mehnat kar rahi hu, it's not happening. So we tend to give it up. The great Dronacharya in this war, when he heard that his son Ashwathama has died, what did Dronacharya do? Anyone knows? At that moment, he stopped fighting the war. The great Drona Acharya, the one who knows everything, when he got bad news, he couldn't deal with it. Why? Because of excess attachment. All the knowledge in the world, but excess attachment. And at that point, he gave up his duty to fight. Whereas remember what happened to Arjuna. Abhimanyu died. Right? Abhimanyu was killed by all the stalwarts of the opposite army. And yet, because Arjuna understood the Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, Arjuna fought the war. And therefore, attachment is a bad thing. Therefore, do not be attached to the results of your actions. Right? Third one, do not work with a motive to gain something. Ma karma phala heturpur. Even when you're working, give up the pride of I am the doer. है ना? Remember, Arjun started off saying, oh my God, if I fight this war, all the Kshatriyas will die. There will be destruction of family traditions, right? Varna Sankar hoga. Krishna is saying, dude, you are not responsible for any of that. You simply do your duty and do it with no attachment. Krishna wants Arjun to give up the ego of being the doer. In fact, when we go ahead in the 11th chapter, it is so beautifully explained. Krishna tells Arjun ki, look, according to dharma, right, the Kauravas have to die. They should perish. Hastinapur should be ruled by you guys. I have already decided this. I have already decided ki all the adharmis will be killed. All the dharmis will win. So the outcome of the war is already decided. So Arjun, whether you fight this war or you don't fight this war, the result is already decided. But what I am giving you is, I am giving you the opportunity to actually become an instrument in that work of mine. Nimittamatram bhavasavyasachi. So we think that because I look after my child very well, my child is doing well. Believe me, introspect carefully whether you're there or not. Your child will accomplish whatever he has to accomplish. But God has given us the good fortune to become conduits, to become instruments, right? So let us do that to the best of our ability. So always keep in mind, we are the instruments and not the cause. A friend of mine actually explained this to me very beautifully recently. She said, think of yourself as a pipe, right? A conduit through which kuch acha aa raha hai, and it is, you're transferring it to somebody else, right? So you've got something from your parents, from the environment, you've learned something, you're passing it on to your children. But the minute you think, I am this fantastic, sparkly, shiny pipe, then you get ego. So in fact, think of yourself as a pipe that has got a lot of rust, right? So when this knowledge is passing through you to benefit someone else, right, even your rust is getting removed. You are getting purified. So when you do karma to benefit other people without any personal motive, what is actually happening is we ourselves are getting purified. Right? If you're just going to lie there doing nothing, nothing is going to change. See, we need to understand, तुम्हारे किचन में है ना वो चिमटा पड़ा रहता है, right? Tongs, right? We all have tongs in the kitchen. Now the tong is lying on the kitchen platform. Can it do anything by itself? It can't, right? We are like that. We can't do anything by ourselves. But the minute we use our hands and pick up the tongs, which means we energize that tong, then what we can do? We can bhajo roti with it, we can bhajo papad with it, we can pick up garam, bartan with it, we can even pick up burning coal with it. Correct? Now if the tongs start thinking ki bhai I am the doer, that is inaccurate, no? If the hand did not come and energize the tongs, would the tongs be able to do anything? No, they just be lying on the table. Right? So that is our situation. If God did not energize us, if God did not nourish us, if God did not give us the necessary abilities, the necessary talents, the necessary, bodily, physical level pay energy, we would be able to do nothing. So, whatever I have achieved, whatever I wish to achieve, whatever I do, I am not the doer. O Madhusudan, you are the real doer. Right? So understand that we are simply instruments. We are nimitta matram. And finally, don't get attached to inaction. Don't be attached to not doing your duty. Even if the activity is unpleasant, if it is burdensome, if it is confusing, it is not rewarding, but it is your duty, you've got to do it. And we've all raised little children. I always say this, we love our children, we serve our children, we perform all kinds of duties, very, very unpleasant duties. We've all changed diapers. As much as we love our children, none of us have enjoyed the experience of changing diapers and cleaning their butts or feeding them at 2 a.m. Right? but out of love, we have done it. Correct? So always remember, however unpleasant the duty is, it is our duty, we need to do it. And when we do that duty, we can have an ego, I am the doer, or we can have an instrument wala mentality. As soon as I think I am the doer, then uska sara karma phal becomes my headache. I fall into karma bandhan. Right? Because I am doing karma. If I say I don't want karma phal, everything belongs to God, then I get no bandhan. Whether it is good or bad, it is his problem, not mine. You know? Soldier, like Sheetal told us, right? Soldier wearing his uniform, killing in a war. All the results belong to the government. None of them are his consequences. Right? But if he goes with doer mentality, goes home, kills his neighbor because neighbor is playing loud music, then karma bandhan is his. He will have to pay for it. Right? So, it's like, I have crockery in my house. Right? Very beautiful crockery. I'm very fond of it. If I break it, because I think it's mine, right? My crockery in my house. When that crockery breaks, then the loss is mine. But my maid to baba re aate jate, didi sorry, ye toot gaya. Oops, sorry, right? There's nothing beyond that. The loss is not her. She's not incurring any loss there. No ownership, no loss, no sukha dukha. Whereas because I think I own it, every time something breaks, I go through dukkha, right? Yaar, mera set incomplete ho gaya. Right? So the minute we have ownership, we suffer sukha dukkha. The minute we do not have that ownership, we do not have that doer mentality, no sukha dukkha. Right? So, we'll go through that verse quickly. Karmani eva adhikara aste. You have the right to perform your duty. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You are not entitled to the karma phal. Ma karma phala hetur bhu. Never think yourself as the doer. Because of me, ye acha hua. No. Mate sangostva akarmani. Never be attached to not doing your duty. Right? So Krishna is telling him, Arjun, do your duty. And again he will repeat what is the right attitude to have when we do our duty. See, don't forget, Krishna is like us, right? As parents, we repeat the same thing to our children so many times, right? Like broken records, we keep giving them the same advice over and over and over again because we think, अच्छा उसको कल नहीं समझा ना, आज समझ जाएगा. आज नहीं समझा, कल समझ जाएगा. Right? With that hope. So Krishna is the universal father. So many times, in so many ways, in so many different words, right? He keeps explaining to us what our attitude should be. So in verse number 47, he's told us how to do our karma. In 48, he will tell us what our attitude should be when we do that particular karma. Okay? Please repeat after me. Yogastha kuru karmani Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva Samatvam yoga uchyate. Rishma, translation please.
Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
Perfect. Yogastha Kuru Karmani. O Kuru, O son of the Kuru dynasty, right? So Kuru is Arjun. How should you do your karma? By being yogastha, equipoised, right? When you do your karma, please be equipoised. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, another name for Arjun. O dhan lane wale, right? Give up all sanga, give up all attachment. Siddhi asiddhyayo. When you do your actions, right, there will be siddhi, matlab success, and sometimes asiddhi, failure, right? But in success and in failure, samo bhutva, you remember to be sama, equipoised, right? In your hands, what is there? being sama in success and in failure. Why? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Because this being sama is really yoga, is the best way to connect with God. So what God is saying is, be equipoised when performing your duty. Give up all attachment. Be the same whether you get success or failure. Don't let success get to your head, and don't get too dejected when you fail. Right? So this verse is a very practical solution for us to deal with all the ups and downs in life. See, this is Bhava Sagar. Right? We all know material world is called Bhava Sagar, the ocean of material existence. Now, when we go on the ocean, the waves are definitely going to shake our boat. Right? If we get disturbed every time a wave comes and hits our boat, then our miseries are endless. Correct? To not expect the waves is being stupid, is being unrealistic. If we are in this Bhav Sagar, to expect that life is going to constantly be beautiful, we are stupid. Right? We can't expect that. We know कि waves आएंगे, waves हमको shake करेंगे. Right? Because waves are an inseparable phenomenon of the ocean. Right? So when we go through this ocean of life, all kinds of waves are going to come and hit us, and they're all going to be beyond our control. But if we keep investing all our energy in trying to fight those waves, we will always be unhappy. All we have to understand is कि वो boat को चलाना अपने हाथ में है. The effort is in our hands. The result is not in our hands. So we concern ourselves with only our duty. And we accept कि भाई Krishna is there. Whatever I do for his happiness, and he will decide what needs to happen with me. If we can do that, then dheere dheere we will be able to treat fame, infamy, success, failure, pleasure, pain, everything sama as his will, and so we will be able to be yogastha, situated in equanimity. Right? So what God is telling us is, dheere dheere please give up all attachments and try and treat success and failure with the same response. I read something very nice. It said, practice the pause. Practice the pause. If success hits you, pause and then react. Failure hits you, pause, then react. You're tired, don't scream. Pause, react. Right? So take a pause, and when you pause, say Hare Krishna. It'll get your conscious in the right direction. It'll help you give a better reaction to the situation. Right? Yes, Reshma.
Sorry, my mistake.
Okay, so that is the practice the pause. Okay, so verse 48 is very simple, just telling us two things. Give up all attachment and dheere dheere try and become sama. Let all your reactions be more thought through. Understand it as the will of God, and then try and remain equal in all situations. Okay, we'll go to verse 49. Do we have any questions? Sonal, you have a question. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the last verse you explained that I am just a medium for things to happen, right?
Correct.
But then that happens, that applies to the good things I do in life. I do any kind of crap in life, and I say in that case also I was a medium. And where is the concept of free will in all of this? Like, how do I?
So,
this?
very nice question. So essentially, God has given you a child, right? And you do everything for the child as a medium. This child has been given to me by God, and therefore I'm going to do the best that I can to raise him in a very cared for, very nourishing, very loving environment. Correct? Now, it is your choice, Sonal, to wake up every morning, to make sure he's bathed, to make sure he gets the right values, to make sure his homework is done, to make sure he's going to school all clean, breakfast done, doodh piya hai, dabba le gaya hai, pick him up on time. This is your free will, Sonal. You can choose to be a mom who sleeps in, who has, a maid to look after him, who has, honestly, in my case, I've barely worked hard towards raising my children. I've got a fantastic support system. I've had mother-in-law, everyone involved in raising my children, right? But again, over there, it has been my free will to say that they will do a lot better than I would in a lot of situations. And therefore, with trust, give them my child to look after, right? Unfortunately, and you will see in your own child's class, there will be children who come to school without proper dabbas, who come to school not, with homework not done, who come to school not in the best state of mind. Why? Because that mommy there has whatever her situation in life, but she's not been able to transfer this to her child. It is her free will that she has used, and it is your free will that you have used. Let's say you've had a terrible fight with your husband, you've fought with him all night, you've cried your eyes out, you've had a miserable night. And yet whatever happens at 6 in the morning, you'll go inside, you'll wash your face, you'll put your best smile on, and then you will get out of your bedroom. Because you don't want that to affect your child. That is you exercising your free will. Or you could be that mother who will do bud and tell kids, get out of my face, all of this happened because of you. Now go to school, here's, canteen money, go look after yourself. Everything that you do, good or bad, you are exercising your free will. Right? I'm sure we've all gone through that phase when, we've gone and told our children, go to hell, you've ruined my life. I don't want to see your face just now. Us not taking the pause. Us removing some frustration without using our brain and, removing that on somebody else. We've not used our free will of stopping and being a better person. So whether you do good or bad, you're doing it by your free will, but always be conscious of what you were put here to do. In every situation, in every crossroad, stop and think, what is it that Krishna would want me to do? And at that point, exercise your free will and do that.
Okay. So, but I'm still not clear. So, what I mean by this is, supposing I am engaged in business activity. Now, I see all the good customers coming to me, or all the good happening to me is Krishna's doing. So there comes a phase in my life that the business is not.
Acha, it is not Krishna's doing. It's not Krishna's doing. Okay. It is Krishna's arrangement for you to be in a particular situation, but you have run your business with the most moralistic, with the most, customer focus that you could do. You have done your karma very, very properly, and you've offered that karma to him. Krishna's doing is putting you in a situation, right, which is whether good for you or not too good for you. He's put you in that situation. Be grateful when the situation is good. Be grateful even when the situation is bad. And you'll be able to do that only when you know that you've worked to the best of your ability. When the business is not good, what you're saying is you feel responsible.
Right.
All you have to do is know that you have done the best that you could do, and it is his will. At that particular time, he's not giving you success because for whatever reason, whatever pehle ka karma, whatever feda-fedi you have to do, right? You're not getting the results. Provided you have done your duty to the best of your ability. If you have slackened off, then it is your doing. Right? So in business, when there are ups, be very, very grateful. When there are downs, right? Again, I to always feel कि छोटे में कटे. Right? बड़ा कुछ होने वाला था, bankruptcy declare करने तक जानी थी, but he protected because I'm in his shelter. Right? See, again we have to realize that when we haven't taken shelter, then everything is nothing but karma. I've done good, I'm reaping good. I've done bad, I'm paying for my bad. So long as I've not taken Krishna's shelter, my entire life is just a balance sheet. I've invested well, I'm getting the results. I've invested badly, I'm suffering the losses. The minute I take shelter, what happens is the biggest problems that were supposed to come in my life, he gives me minimalistic reactions.
This is the same thing as Nishkam Karma, right?
Correct.
You taught, right?
Exactly.
So my question is, for example, you say don't be attached to the results. Say I am someone who studies medicine, for example, and my goal is to do MD. Now to do MD, to go to that stage, I first have to do MBBS. Now in case if I don't have that focus in mind to get done with the MBBS, I'll not be able to do that MBBS. So without having that attachment to the goal, how is it that I'm deciding what path to work on, what karmas to do? It has kind of confused me always.
See, I'll tell you, my daughter is now in the first year of MBBS. So I just went through 2 years of her preparing for her NEET exam. Okay? And again, I say by his mercy, she got a 700 score. So she went into a beautiful college. Right? Now, my job is not to tell her to sit down and pray every day. Her prayer is studying very, very hard. Her prayer is to get knowledge in such a way that she'll be able to use it to the best of her ability to treat patients. That's exactly what Krishna is saying. Krishna is not saying कि sit down and pray and do yajna and do puja path. He's saying ये वेदों के झंझट में मत पढ़ो तुम. You do your karma to the best of your ability. So if you're studying your MBBS and you want to score really well so that you get a fantastic PG seat tomorrow, your job is to study absolutely brilliantly. Right? Your job is to put in 20 hours of very, very good study so that your foundation is fantastic and you get the best PG seat, and there, you are going to do the best that you can so that you become a fantastic doctor that the world needs. That is Karma Yoga. Right? Keep in mind that I am going to put in 100% of work because God has given me this intelligence. God has given me this ability to sit down and study. It's the toughest course to pick in the entire world. Right? Everybody knows this. Studying medicine is the toughest thing you can do. But you wouldn't have been able to do it if God had not given you the intelligence, the dedication, the perseverance to actually sit down and study. So keep that in mind. Don't ever get proud that these abilities come because of you. You know so many people who've tried and given these exams and failed. Right? Last year, 18 lakh children gave the exam. And we have 96,000 seats in our country, including private and public seats. 96,000 children could clear it versus 18 lakh children gave the exams. Right? But if you belong to that 96,000, so my daughter's rank is 300 something. Right? But the minute she thinks, ki boss, this is because I am so smart, then there is a downfall. To always keep in mind that ability to persevere, to be dedicated, to have this home environment where parents supported you, everybody else supported you, your teachers were fantastic. I mean, the classes that she went to were beyond fantastic. Right? So for all of them to have come into your life is God's blessing. To remember that every good teacher that you found, every good notes that you find to study, every person who comes and teaches you something is God's blessing in your life. To recognize that and then put in your 100%. That is Karma Yoga. Connecting what you're doing with God. Right? I mean, if you're a fantastic cook and if I give you horrible ingredients, you put in your best effort, you will not be able to give good food out. Right? So be grateful for the ingredients that have been provided. And who is providing those ingredients? God. Right? So in every action, remember, so you could be the best architect. But if your raw materials were not good, would you be able to build something fantastic? You wouldn't. So be grateful for the raw materials. Be conscious that God has provided these raw materials in my life, given me the ability and the talent to put these raw materials together, right, in the right proportion, in the right place. And therefore, I'm able to do my duty. So I'm going to apply all of this to the best of my ability. Result, not mine. I've done my 100%. God forbid, for whatever reason, I do not get the MD seat that I was hoping to get. Then there is some jhol that I have done. So he knows what is best for me. In fact, sometimes you'll be surprised that maybe 10 years later you will realize ki yaar, why was I eyeing that MD seat? This one that he gave me has worked out the best. Everything in life has fallen in place because I walked this path. Right? In retrospect, even now, I mean, I'm sure people who are older than you will look back and think that in life sometimes we've looked and we've said, yaar, I did not want this. But na zabardasti ye ho gaya mere saath life mein. And when I look back, I say, wow, thank God that happened. Thank God I did not get what I wanted to, what I was chasing. That was God's protection for me. Right? So I would look at it like that. Yeah, Pooja darling, you have a question?
Actually, just to add to Sonal's this, what ma'am is actually telling us that we should just concentrate on our efforts, not on the output, because there are a lot of people जो अगर ऐसा होगा तो मैं पता है जरूर पूजा करूंगी, अगर ऐसा होगा तो मैं जरूर अपना वो व्रत रखूंगी. So that's not what she means. What she means is you just do your duty diligently, do it judiciously, do it with 100%. वो रिजल्ट भगवान के ऊपर है. That's what she's saying.
Absolutely. In fact, you would find a lot of kids now, very, very smart kids, and thanks to Google and all the information available in today's world, children are planning their careers based on what is going to give them the highest amount of money and fame. Now, that itself is wrong. Your intention, your final goal, your aim of life has to be far bigger than that. Right? It is, how can I give back? If I think I belong to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, how do I give back to this Kutumbakam? Right? So your intention, your end game, you have to understand that has to be a very purified intent. Why are you becoming a doctor? Right? Why do you want to become a super specialist? What is it that you want to achieve? Right? Sumati, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Varsha.
Hare Krishna, darling.
It was regarding Sonal's this Sunday. When she said, suppose it's an MBBS student, and for him or her, goal is to clear the exam. So unless he or she thinks about the goal, how do they do their karma?
Exactly.
When Krishna says you don't think about the goal or the fruits of the goal or whatever, if you don't keep a goal, then how do you even go about it?
Simple, na? Tum agar fulka...
Your work is goal oriented, no?
Correct. All your work has to be goal oriented. Only thing is, don't get attached to the goal. And don't start thinking कि because of you, अगर मैं खाना नहीं बनाऊंगी ना मेरा घर भूखा जाएगा. Don't fool yourself. है ना? So that is all that he is trying to say. You do your karma. Don't get attached over there. Don't start thinking कि मैं नहीं करूंगी तो बाकी दुनिया is going to suffer. And so don't say, okay, I will also not do my karma sometimes. No, none of that works.
When I have the same question in my mind. अभी एक बच्चा एग्जाम लिखता है, पास होने का बोल के he is writing the exam, no?
He has to study to the best of his ability.
He is studying, but he is expecting the result के पास होना ही है.
He is knowledge gain of knowledge should be his focus, so that every day he is a better version of himself.
पढ़ेगा नहीं तो पास नहीं होएगा तो
Exactly.
पढ़ के आगे जाने that was his intention.
Absolutely.
तो मतलब वो पास होएगा बोल के he is studying.
Correct.
Suppose if the result is fail हो गया तो उतना पढ़ के भी मैं fail हो गया, that I just ये कर्म का ना I understand this क्योंकि ठीक है we will not expect anything, but पढ़ेगा तो ही पास हो सकता है ना, without that how?
Yes. So you have to do your work. If you don't do your work, how do you go ahead in life?
Sometimes it happens that पढ़ के अच्छा पढ़ के भी पास नहीं होता है, so that
पढ़ के पास नहीं होता, then he has to see कि भाई पढ़ाई में क्या गड़बड़ किया. Maybe he thinks he was studying, but all his attention was Netflix on the next room or phone that kept buzzing. और पढ़ाई करके पास नहीं होना normally नहीं होता है. पढ़ाई कर लो पास हो ही जाओगे, unless like I said, as we get older we realize कि हमारे कर्म में कोई ना कोई झोल है. So we are paying for that. We are properly driving our car. Somebody comes and hits us from behind. कुछ लेन देन था, right? So yes, happens, but you have to realize कि you're paying for something.
पिछले कर्म का कुछ होगा.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. You're paying for something that you have done. It is the most just system. You have to remember that there is no injustice in God's world. Right? There is that very famous story, of Dhritarashtra telling Krishna, "Yaar Krishna, you gave me 100 sons and then you killed them all. Why would you do that?" He says, "Bhai, तूने वो 100, birds को मारा था." Right? So you had to pay for it. Now, whatever, right? These stories may not have a source or whatever, but the point is you've done something, right? I mean, why did Ram have to go into exile? He was paying off his father's debt, no? So there are stories. I mean, if you think of it, Shastra normally explains everything to you just to tell you that this is a very, very just system. There is no injustice. Whatever has happened is your karmi coming back to you. If you're in his shelter, then it's not going to be that hard. Also, you'll have the strength to face it better. Right? So that is what it is. Yes, Sumati. Okay, last question and then we'll go ahead. Tell me, Sumati.
Sorry, just now you said that Lord Ram was paying debt of his father. It doesn't mean that the children will end up paying the debt of their parents.
Darling, you have to remember that Ram is God himself.
God.
Right? So he's coming to teach us lessons. Right? And we have children, which means that we are all connected with our past, with our past karmas. Person you marry, children you have, your in-laws, everybody close to you, everybody has been not with you just this lifetime. They've been coming from many lifetimes. Friends that are very, very dear to you and you feel like you have a soul connect. These are your old... Have you read that book, Many Lives, Many Masters? Amazing book. Amazing book. Tells you that, you know what, we intermingle with the same people all through our different lives. And finally, we have to nullify this karmic balance before we can exit. Many Lives, Many Masters. Beautiful book.
I'll check it out.
Right? But we understand it far simpler because, we understand the concept of karma. That, of course, is based out of the US and, Europe, I think.
It is written by who? That book, Many Lives.
Many Lives, Many Masters, written by a very, very accomplished... Yes, Brian Wick. That's the guy. Right? I mean, read his quotes. Oh my God. I mean, they're brilliant. In fact, even if you just do a Google search sometimes, just to, read his quotes on life, you'll be zapped out of your mind. Right? So, yeah, that's a beautiful book.
Try to get it.
Yeah, take it from me, Sumati. I have it lying. Okay, all right. We'll move to verse number 49, please. Please repeat. Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvichha kripana phalahetavaha.
Yeah. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers.
Thank you. Durena, here, avaram karma. Avaram karma means karma where you want something in return. So God is saying keep all those sakam karma far away. Karma where I want something, don't get entangled in those karmas. Right? So everything that the Vedas are telling us. ये व्रत करो ये मिलेगा, ये पूजा करो ये मिलेगा, ये पाठ करो ये मिलेगा. Krishna is clearly telling us, Durena hyavaram karma. Keep all these sakam karmas far, far away. Buddhi yogad dhananjaya. How will you do it? By only focusing on doing nishkama karma. Karma where I have no kamanai. I don't want anything in return. I'm doing it because it is my duty. Right? Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvichha. Use your buddhi and take sharan of God. Please remember, buddhau sharanam anvichha. Use your intelligence and take refuge of God. Kripana phalahetavaha. Only those who are kripan, who are misers. Kripan is the opposite of Brahman. Brahman gives everybody knowledge, gives everybody advice, does not want anything in return. Kripana, a miser is somebody, मैं तुझे इतना दे रहा हूं ना, तू मुझे बदले में क्या देगा? What am I going to get from you in return? Only then I'm going to give you something. That's a kripana. So Krishna is saying, only a kripan person works for फल की इच्छा. Right? फल के हेतु से काम करने वाला is a kripan. Don't be a kripana. Be a brahmana. Right? Only misers want to enjoy the fruit of their work. Because when I enjoy the fruit of my work, what is happening? Again, I'm falling into Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Because I get karma bandhan. All activities where I want to enjoy the fruit of my work becomes avaram karma. Abominable activities because they bind me to this cycle of birth and death. Right? For every work that we do, two concepts. External activity, internal attitude. Correct? Externally, तुम अपना ड्यूटी एकदम डट के करो. Internally, have an attitude of complete renunciation. So when you cook a sumptuous meal, cook it not for your own enjoyment. Cook it because you want to offer it to the Lord. Right? And then accept it as prasad. So Krishna is essentially telling Arjuna, forget about the results of the war, fight. Fight to the best of your ability because that is your dharma, that is my will. Right? So Krishna is advising Arjuna कि भाई this yuddha you need to fight. So get into buddhi yoga. Use vyavasayatmika buddhi. Be completely focused and do your duty of fighting the war. Don't worry about what the results are going to be. Okay? All these are just telling us how to start purifying our attitude. Okay? We'll do one more verse. All these are very, very simple verses. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrute tasmad yogaya yujyasya yoga karmasu kaushalam. Very simple verse. Reshma, please read it.
The man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work.
So Krishna is simply saying, यार तुम योग में रह के है ना, समा होके do all your work. You'll be free of all good and bad reactions. Now normally we think that if we are very attached to our results, then our performance will go up, right? But that is not true. Now let's take again, Sonal is studying to be a doctor. So let's take the example of a surgeon. Okay, he performs surgeries as a matter of duty. Correct? Everyday life mein anybody comes and he's performing surgeries. But when his own child needs to be operated on, does the surgeon perform that surgery? No, he doesn't. Now normally he's the best surgeon, he's very sincere, he's very dutiful, he's expert, he's confident. खुद का बच्चा आया, why does he get somebody else to do it? Because of attachment, right? Because he's attached, he will not be able to perform that surgery skillfully. You understand? So attachment actually does not make us perform better. Attachment adversely affects our performance. Right? Instead, if we work without attachment, we will be able to work to the best of our ability. We're not nervous, we're not jittery, we're not scared, we're not tensed, right? We're not overexcited. We know that I'm doing this to the best of my ability. God is responsible for the results. Right? So, buddhi yukto jahatiha. In this life itself, if I use my buddhi yoga, then ubhe, here itself, sukruta dushkrute, I will be free from all good or bad reactions. Therefore, tasmad yogaya yujyasya. Whatever you are doing, do it in God consciousness. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. You will be free from all kinds of miseries. Right? Before hearing the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna entered the war with a doer mentality. Right? I am going to be responsible for the outcome of this war. After hearing the Bhagavad Gita, he starts fighting as a matter of duty. God wants me to do this. Karishye vachanam tava. That is the end of the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna says, I will do what you have told me to do. Karishye vachanam tava. So he's still a warrior, but his internal motivation changes after listening to 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. And that is what we should pray for. After listening to these 700 verses, none of our karma is going to change. Our internal motivation, our internal thought system, right? That is going to change. We have to finally move to Karishye Vachanam Tava. Right? The fact is that he did his duty without attachment, and that did not make him less competent than before. In fact, he got greater inspiration because now he was working to directly serve God. May we all start doing our karmas with that internal motivation, and may we all start doing everything that we do as service to God. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Thank you all for joining.